Hey everyone, today we're going to look at installing software on Linux. Now, if you're new to Linux, you're probably wondering how do you go about getting programs. You're used to it on Windows, you go to Google, you type in Skype or whatever you're looking for, you download the file and then you double click it. It's a little bit different on Linux. There's a couple different ways you could download software. So today we're going to look at those different ways and really basically we're just going to cover all the ways you can install software, but I guess we will start with the easiest way to do this, for beginners at least. So go ahead and bring up your menu and hit Software Manager. If you're on Ubuntu, it might be called Software Center, I forget. I'm on Linux Mint. KDE and GNOME, it should be the same. Obviously I'm on KDE. So for the Software Manager, this is kind of like a app store that you would see on a smartphone. You can really just type in any application that you want. So for example, I'll type in Office and it'll generate a list of Office software for me. I can double click openoffice.org. I can see the reviews, the rating, and the packages about it. I could look at some of the different comments people have left about the software. And then if I want it, I just hit install. It'll ask me for my password. I'll hit OK. It'll take about 30 seconds and it'll install the software for me free of charge. Another very similar way would be to use the package manager in Linux Mint and Ubuntu. That would be the Synaptic Package Manager. Now this is almost the same thing as the software manager, except I think it's a little bit easier if you're looking at certain dependencies. I think it's a little bit quicker too, because you don't have as much graphical clutter as you do in the software manager. So it's the same idea. If I want to type in Banshee because I want that music program, I can type in Banshee. But I like this because I can see all the dependencies. I can see the extension. If I wanted the lyrics extension, which would allow me to see the lyrics of any song I have playing, you just left click that, hit mark for installation. To be installed, this tells you the packages that it's going to add to your system. You're going to need these to run this software, so I'll hit mark and I would hit apply, and then it would install the software. I'm going to hit quit since I'm not going to install Banshee today. But these are really just graphical front ends for apt-get, which is the actual package manager in Linux Mint. So the package manager, from the terminal, it's a little bit more direct. I think it's faster if you know the exact name of the software that you're looking for. For example, if you're just looking for Office but you don't know the package name, you don't want to use the terminal. If you're, then you would just go to the software manager, hit Office, and then you would browse for what you're looking for. But if I know the exact name that I'm looking for, in this case Banshee, I will use the terminal and I would type in sudo apt-get install Banshee. Hit enter. It'll ask me for my password, which of course will not show up on the screen. And this shows the packages and the dependencies that are getting installed with Banshee. I can hit Y and then hit the enter key, or N and enter key for yes or no. I'm going to hit N since I don't want Banshee. You're probably wondering, what do I do if I can't find the software in the software manager or Synaptic? How do I get it? And that's a valid concern for some people, since they don't know where to get software. They go in and they type in Google and it just gives them an exe file, which of course is not going to do anything for you if you're on a Linux distribution. But you can open up your web browser. I have Chromium already opened here, and I've typed into Google OpenShot and I've hit the download link. Now there's a couple different methods for adding software from the internet. One is a PPA. Now a PPA is kind of like a personal repository for a certain piece of software. When you download software from the Synaptic Package Manager, you're really just using the repositories, which is a group listing of software that Ubuntu or Linux Mint has provided with you as trusted software. When you add a PPA, it's for one program, and it'll ensure that you get updates when you launch your update manager, which it is something that's recommended if you're looking for the most up-to-date software possible. So it's many times if you're on Linux Mint 12 and it comes with, say Banshee 2.4, you're going to end up on Banshee 2.4 even if you use Linux Mint 12 for 2 years. It's just usually how it works because they provide the most stable version of the software, and then that's usually what you stick on. But to add the PPA, we can simply copy this code in the terminal and paste it, or we can just copy the name of the PPA and bring up Synaptic once more. You can also bring up software sources if you would like to. But to add the software, hit Settings, Repositories, Other Software, add and copy and paste the PPA line and hit Add Source. It's important that you reload after you add the source, as it will refresh the software that's available in the repositories that you have enabled. And now you can simply search for what you're looking for up at the top here. So, for example, if you couldn't find Skype before, but you added the Skype repository, now typing in Skype would bring up the Skype package that you need, and you could just left click, mark for installation, and just install that from here. Another way you could do it would be to download a Debian file, a .deb. That's kind of like downloading a .exe on Windows. Basically just download the .deb, double click it, the package manager will come up, it'll ask you what you want to do, you're going to hit install, and it just runs through that. That's going to be your most familiar method of installing software if you're used to Windows. You probably won't end up doing that too often, but if you do, it's very simple, and you would be used to it, so you would know exactly what to do. The last method, and probably the least likely you will be to use it, would be to install software from source. Now, source code is basically just the code needed to put together a program and have it run. If you're going to do that, you need a couple of things. The first would be to open up Synaptic and make sure you have Build Essentials installed. That's a package that you're going to need if you're going to put together any software. It's called building software. So we'll type in build -essential, and I already have it installed. If you do not, you want to install that. I'm on 64-bit, so I have this package. This would be for 32-bit, I believe. Now you want to just hit get source and download the source code. Usually it'll give you a tarball, which is a tar.gz file. You want to right click and you want to extract that archive, which will give you this folder right here. This will give you the OpenShot folder, for example. Now, always you want to read the README file first. I mean, that's why they put it there. And it'll tell you what you need to install this and how to install it. This tells me what I need. Now, when you download something or install something from Synaptic, it gives you the dependencies that you need automatically. Not so much with the source. You have to do that yourself. So it tells me I need Python, GTK, GUCanvas, some SOC stuff, some FMPEG, which is going to be for audio and conversions. So you want to make sure you use Synaptic or Terminal to add these dependencies first. Otherwise, nothing will happen when you compile the source. Now this is telling you to open up a terminal and change the directory, CD, to the directory that you have the archive extracted to. So this assumes that you have in home your username /openshot/bin. You could do that. Well, this would be if you're actually I think this would be if you're just running it, I guess, from the terminal, but you don't have to run it from the terminal. You'll actually just get a menu item. You should. At any rate, how would you like to install it? Well, you're going to want to use this command, sudo python setup.py install. If you're on KDE, you can just hit, I believe it's F3 or F4 to get this little terminal window down here, and you could do it right in this window. If you have GNOME, there's some sort of open Nautilus terminal sort of package where it'll let you just right click an archive or a folder and just open that folder in terminal. Otherwise, just bring up the terminal and just CD to wherever you have it. Pretty simple. So go ahead and copy and paste this command, or just type it in. Hit enter. It'll ask you for your root password. Hit enter. It'll compile. I'm on an i7, so that took all of maybe 5 or 6 seconds. Close out of this. You can close out the README now, and you can install or run it from the command line like the README had suggested, or you could do the easy thing and just type in OpenShot. Now there's no icon here. I could add the icon if I wanted to, or I could just hit OpenShot Video Editor. And look at that, it works just fine. A lot of people get intimidated when they have to install stuff from source. I don't really know why. It's usually not that hard. But you know, I guess if you're not used to it, you just would want to avoid it maybe. But it's really not so bad. I usually avoid it because the people that install stuff from source usually want to customize their installation somehow. For me, usually I just grab it from Synaptic, or I just get the PPA for it. That's pretty much the easiest and most basic way. But you know, if you can't find something, once in a while software is only available from source, and you're not really left with a choice. At any rate, we have just looked at the various ways to install software on Linux. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Alright? Till next time.